Hello everyone, my name is Skyler, and today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite groups of animals, the scorpion. So scorpions are a very long-lasting group. They are arachnids, they're carnivorous, they're nocturnal, and they have been on this earth for around 430 million years. That is insane. So they've existed longer than the dinosaurs, than trees, than pretty much a lot of life that we know on land. They're often considered to be one of the first animals that made that important transition from living in the water to living on land. And we actually have found quite a few fossilized scorpion specimens, although they are pretty rare due to the nature of their exoskeleton. It doesn't preserve really well, but we have been able to find a couple scorpion specimens in the fossil record, and we're actually able to see that they have changed almost barely at all over the course of millions of years, which is really cool if you think about it, because you're able to basically look at a scorpion that existed millions upon millions of years ago, and it would look almost exactly like a scorpion that you know and hopefully love today. And so like I said, scorpions are arachnids. So this can be a little weird for people to think about sometimes because they look so different than so many other arachnids we are used to encountering, particularly spiders, tarantulas, ticks, those sorts of things. However, they very much are arachnids. So here I have a resin cast specimen of a scorpion. And I kind of want to just show you how exactly these guys do fit in within the world of arachnids. So one of the first common, very diagnostic traits of arachnids is having 8 legs. And as we can see, scorpions do have 8 legs. We got 4 on each side. So very arachnid trait. And so one thing that people sometimes get confused about is then, okay, what's up with these claws up here in the front? Are those legs? Is that something else? What is going on? Why do they have those? I've never seen an arachnid with anything like that before. So what the claws are on a scorpion is a structure called the pedipalps. And this is a structure that all arachnids have. And it's basically modified mouth parts that they use to manipulate prey items, their environment, anything like that. So for scorpions, they basically just took their mouth parts to the extreme and evolved a pair of very opposable claws that they will then use to pick up objects, grab prey, put prey into their mouth, and those sorts of things. Another trait that scorpions have that is pretty arachnid classic is the fact that they have multiple sets of eyes. So they're kind of hard to see. I personally think it's easier to spot them under UV light, which I will be showing a little bit later. But they have one set of eyes at the top of their head, right about there. So they have a set of eyes at the top of their head. This is good for seeing any incoming predators or objects that are above them. However, then they also have about 2 to 3 sets of eyes that are right at the front of their mouths. So they're very small, multiple sets of eyes, and they use these to sense their environment, see prey items, see each other, and all those sorts of things. Now, another trait about scorpions that makes it hard sometimes for people to wrap their heads around that these guys are arachnids is that iconic scorpion tail. This is something that we are not used to seeing other arachnids having. We're used to seeing that more round, bulbous abdomen without any sort of envenomation device at the end. However, this is in fact the abdomen of a scorpion. So what many people don't actually realize is that there are internal organs inside of this tail, which is called the metasoma. So there are actually intestines that go through this whole structure, and then actually their anus is right at the end, at the segment between the stinger bulb and right at the end of the tail. So this is actually a very important part of the scorpion, and if you actually were to damage this or cut it off in some way, it would negatively impact the scorpion's health, and it would likely die at some point, basically due to constipation. Another thing that people also don't always realize when thinking about scorpions is obviously they're very common in a lot of arid and desert regions. It's very easy for us to imagine a scorpion in a desert environment. It's very classic, very iconic. However, scorpions actually exist in a very, very wide range of environmental settings, and they're also really common in actually tropical rainforests. So I actually studied quite a few tropical species during my master's research, and actually over here on the shelves, I actually do have some different scorpion specimens. I will showcase one of them a little closer later. I don't really want to rip one of them out of their burrows. They don't particularly like that, and also I admittedly do not have the proper gloves to hold a scorpion at this time. But I have held lots of scorpions. They're actually really cool to hold and just interact with. They're really bizarre, interesting creatures, and having the opportunity to look at one so close that's in your hand is really an amazing experience. It really just kind of helps you get an appreciation for the animals that they are. Alright, so we got a bit of a different camera angle here because I wanted to show you one of my scorpions. So this is Bruce. She is an adult Pandapalpus viatoris. Not quite sure of her age, although guessing on her size, she's probably a couple years old. She is for sure a full-grown adult. But we can kind of see her here a little bit. She's here in her burrow that she has constructed. And I switched this angle because I want to show another really cool thing that scorpions do. And that is they react under UV light. So this right here, is a UV light. Or black light as we like to call it. So you can kind of see it right here. And when we shine it on the scorpion, they do this awesome fluorescence. And they have this nice turquoise almost color. And this is really awesome for being able to see them in the dark. So if you're ever out in the desert and there are scorpions in the area and you want to check to make sure there's none, in your bed, in your tent, something like that, you're not stepping on them, having a UV light is actually a really good way, very surefire way to be able to look for scorpions. They do not react to UV light. So they react to sunlight and flashlights, any sort of bright white or yellow light that we often use to see. They react to this very negatively. They view it as basically sunlight. I am out of my burrow. I am out of my protective space. I should not be here. I'm a nocturnal animal. Something is wrong. And they will often scurry back under the ground into some sort of hiding space. But with the UV light, they don't really react to this. It's likely that they probably cannot see this type of wavelength of light. However, for whatever reason, they evolved the ability to react to it in their exoskeleton. And actually a really fun fact is we know that scorpions have had this ability for a really long time because we actually find fossilized scorpions that are millions and millions of years old that if you shine a UV light on them, their exoskeleton still glows. And that is so wild. Like, millions of years have passed and they're still reacting to UV light. It's just so awesome. Alright, so Bruce was a big tropical scorpion, but not all scorpions are particularly large and don't live in tropical regions, as you probably know. So here I want to show another one of my guys. We cannot see him right now because he's in hiding. So this is Lil Dude. He is Paravahovus spinagarus, and he is an arid species. As you can see, he's pretty small. Barely larger than my thumb. Look at him, he's so awesome. And he also will glow under UV light. He also constructs burrows. Just a very, very cool species of scorpion. And these guys live in the US and into Mexico, so they live around kind of the southwest, so around like Arizona, New Mexico, those sorts of areas. Sorry, my cat is upset that I locked her out of the room. But yeah, so scorpions exist in a wide variety of environments, lots of different places, pretty much all over the world except for areas like Antarctica and Greenland, basically anywhere where it's too cold for them to live, because they are invertebrates. They are considered cold-blooded, so they do need an environment that allows them to get warm enough to operate and move. So if they're in a place like Antarctica, they really won't do too well in that sort of environment. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for watching my video as I educate you about scorpions. Hopefully you've gained a little bit of appreciation, maybe learned something that you didn't know before. Once again, my name is Skyler. I'm really excited about this position as full-time keeper in the Animal Ambassador program at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. And I'm really excited about it, and I look forward to your response. And before I go, I think I will showcase one of my other favorite animals, which are my cats. Thanks, have a good one.